Hello everybody, this is MTG RatGirl, and today we're gonna go over Lorwyn spoilers, which I'm so excited for. Universes Beyond Winter is officially over, and I can stop being annoying about it now. So we are going to dive right into my very favorite plane, and if all goes well, my spark will awaken, and then I will move there forever. So let's just get into it. This is on the Draftism site is where I'm getting this from this time. And it looks like our first card up here is some elf shenanigans. Goes along well with Morgan the Perfect, pardon me, that we have already seen. So we've got some Beholding coming back with Champions of the Perfect here. We saw in Dragons of Tarkir, again, it's where you just show someone an elf. Like, behold, there it is. It's a very cute mechanic, I think. I really like the look of it. What we have going on that's different here is that you have to behold that elf card and then exile it. So it is gone forever. And then whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. This is pretty good. It's 4 mana and it's like another Beast Whisperer effect, so I'm sure a ton of green decks are going to love that. And then when this creature leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. So I don't know why they didn't just do Champion again like that. In the first Lorwyn set, they had an effect called Champion a Creature, which is where you had to like Oblivion Ring your own creature of a certain type pretty much. And I guess this is the exact same thing, except you can do it from your hand as well. So that's pretty cute. Hexing Squelcher. This is gonna be a big one. I think this is the same effect as Spider Punk, which was seeing a lot of play in my CEDH circle. So if you have like a red deck that is dependent on you getting your combo off, you don't have access to white, you don't have access to like those silence effects that red usually wants, that is the card for you for sure. And then with Deepway Navigator here, I am super excited to get back into Azorius Merfolk. This looks like the Signpost rare for the draft format. At least that's what I'm hoping. Flash, and then when it enters, untap every other Merfolk you control. As long as you attacked with 3 or more Merfolk this turn, they get a little pump effect, so that's pretty cute. Little backstory for me, my first constructed deck that I ever kind of like took seriously when I was like 16 years old or something like that was an Azorius Merfolk deck from the Lorwyn and Shadowmoor block. So I am very excited to play some draft of this set and hopefully get some Azorius Merfolk going. Another note on this, really quick. My friend Gwen, who you heard me talking about on the $5 gift exchange commander video, also said that she is planning or has built in the past a dry Merfolk deck, which is just Selesnya Merfolk, and she's excited to get some support for that. I don't know how common of a thing that is, but I thought it sounded really hilarious. Okay, and next up we have Kin Binding. Creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of creatures that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. Okay, so this is beginning of combat, make a Kithkin. Okay, I was wondering if this was going to be a Kithkin specific thing because Lorwyn does the kindred like abilities so well. This could be just a generic kindred effect, but it is kind of cool to see this little, oh, I'm going to show how stupid I am for a minute. The Druid Rock Circle. You know the one I'm talking about. I'm so sorry, England. I don't know the name of... Okay, Glenn Alindra's Answer. Okay, so we've got some fairy-specific counter spells going on. Counter all spells your opponents control and all abilities your opponents control. Create a black and blue fairy creature token with flying for each spell and ability countered this way. Okay, so it's 4 mana, but it's kind of like it's like a better Mind Break trap for 4 mana. You get a fairy for everything you countered. That is really hot. I'm sure that's going to see play in like every format it's legal in. And Reese the Evermore, we've got some like follow-up to Reese the Exiled and Reese the Redeemed on here. So he has Flash, and when he enters, another creature you control gains Persist until the end of turn. That's a pretty cool effect in white. You don't see a lot of that outside of black, honestly. I was gonna say that's like typically like a thing that I use in Rakdos colors. There were some good Rakdos creatures with Persist. This also kind of plays into the Blight mechanic that we've seen so far. Again, with the Golgari elf creature that got spoiled pretty early on. Having Blight be a mechanic in this set means that gaining Persist is pretty good. Yes, but could play into your opponent's strategy pretty well if they happen to be running a Blight deck, which it seems like a lot of the Jund cards are going to be using this like Blight ability that just makes you put -1 counters on your own stuff. So having that ability to remove any number of counters from a creature you control makes that appear a whole lot better in the limited and constructed formats going forward. We got more Merfolk over here. God, I'm so excited to play Merfolk again. This is like, okay, I'm spazzing out for a minute and you're going to deal with it. This is going to be the only thing I talk about for the next 3 months, okay? I'm telling you, if you don't want me to talk about how cute Kithkin and Merfolk are and my freaking Flamekin elementals that I have missed so dearly, just unfollow me now, because this is going to be the only thing that I talk about for the next entire season. It looks like a lot of the Merfolk are leaning into this Convoke ability that we've seen today. So it's very cool to see. I'm very partial to it. I play a lot of creature tokens on this channel, and I've gone over a lot of decks where Convoke cards like this are just incidentally very good because they're free a lot of the time. And having a 5-mana creature that you can potentially play for free late in the game is super helpful. And you also get to like bounce something else to its owner's hand. That's a cool little ability. Even if it was just the body with Flash, and you could just flash it in as a blocker for free without sacrificing some better board piece and having to chump with it, that would be worth it for me. Now, Harmonized Crescendo for 6 mana is a lot of mana to leave up, so, that Convoke ability is definitely necessary. This is going to go into a lot of the fairy commander decks that I have seen people play. Things like there is like an Esper Alila. Alila makes a ton of fairy tokens. And so this is just going to be a free card draw spell late in the game. There's also a really good like 5-mana Demir fairy who rewards you for playing things on other people's turn. And we're getting our 4th, I think, elemental incarnation with these spoilers as well. Vibrance, that's just so cute. That's like Lisa Frank level shit on this card art. When this creature enters, if you paid 2 red, deal 3 damage. If you paid 2 green, search your library for a land, put it into your hand. Okay, so this tutors up any land, importantly. And so that's going to be really good for people who play like a lot of shit like Gaia's Cradle. If you're playing something like Lumra, except it would have to be in Gruul colors, I guess. This is a really good ad for any Gruul landfall stuff that you have going on that maybe uses Talon Gates or some kind of like tricky infinite land drop thing like that. Grub's Command. Okay, I think Grub might be a new Boggart character, unless I'm just completely unfamiliar with the story. So this is going to be another thing that is making a bunch of creature tokens. Like any goblin deck, the Boggarts really like you to have a ton of goblins. You can also give target player. So, hey, this is a candidate for my Crazy Car, also known as Karazakar group hug deck. You can just give someone +1/+1 and haste. Good anthem for a turn. Blow up an artifact or creature. Target player mills 5 cards, puts each goblin milled this way into their hand. Okay, so not only can this make you more goblins by making a token on top of one of these other effects, you can also dig into your library for more goblins. So that seems pretty cool. And that's Oh, that's not the end of our rares. Okay, we are not sorting this by rarity this time. I love the character design on these Flamekin elementals so much. I'm so excited for this. And it looks like we have Vivid as like a alternate form of Sunburst that we've seen in Mirrodin in the past. That's pretty cool. Deals X damage to target a creature an opponent controls. X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Okay, so the commander precon for this set that isn't Jund Blight is 5-color elementals deck. So I guess we're going to see some support for like 5-color elementals. That seems pretty cool, honestly. I thought the elementals were just good enough to go into their like 2-color pairing decks, but this is actively rewarding you for playing 5 colors and just having those permanents on the board. So that is pretty sick. Okay, we've got Dream Caesar. This art is a callback to Fairy Dream Thief from the original Lorwyn block, which I really appreciate that they're doing that like visual callback there with someone like grabbing something out of a sleeping giant's ear. When this creature enters, Blight. Okay, yeah, and then each opponent discards a card. That's some good black discard tech that scales up into commander, but for 4 mana, I can see why it's a common. We'll just put it that way. Winnowing. We've got more Convoke synergy on a rare white for 6 mana. Each player choose a creature that players controls. Each player sacrifices other creatures that don't share a creature type. Oh, interesting. So this is going to be less good in the limited format, I predict. A lot of people are probably going to go all in on typo synergies as much as they can. That is just a really nice board wipe to have in Eternal formats. In Commander, if you happen to be playing a white Kindred deck, definitely make sure you hang on to that one. Dawnhand Dissident, we get some Blight and Surveil, or we can Blight 2, so someone has to put 2 -1 counters among creatures they control, and you get some Graveyard Hate on top of it. This being a 1-drop and having like decent toughness is also extremely good. I don't have to tell you that. Golgari elves are gonna be busted. We've seen it. Cast creature spells exiled with this creature by removing 3 counters from among creatures you control. Okay, so making you yourself Blight is actually useful. So this is gonna be kind of like a slower Dothy Voidwalker, I think. And for a lot of decks, having access to like 2 of those kind of graveyard theft effects is definitely going to be a game changer. I'm really excited for that one. Boggart Mischief. Oh, look how mischievous she is. She's wearing the Whittle Pig head. When this enchantment enters, Blight 1. If you do, make some goblin tokens. Whenever a goblin dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Okay, so even if this was just the second effect, that would be worth 3 mana in a Rakdos goblin deck for me. So I think that is really solid for an uncommon, honestly. Appeal to Urdu, Convoke. It's an anthem. Okay, that's fine. Flock Imposter. Okay, I remember the art for Flock Imposter being spoiled before any of the Lorwyn cards were being spoiled, and this one stuck out to me a lot. Let's see if I can zoom in for you. I can't, is the answer. Okay. Anyway, Flock Imposter, really adorable art. I like this like emu with whiskers thing going on. And the changelings just look so freaky with like their big owl eyes. I kind of like how they have these like sharp beaks in this set, and they're kind of leaning into that more like creepy owl bird-like aesthetic. I like that a lot. Very cute. This is kind of like the effects that we saw in the Orzhov Bounce deck that was really good in Standard over the summer and fall. So I think having this at an uncommon is pretty good. The fact that it is a 3-drop instead of a 2-drop like Sun Pearl Kirin was is definitely something to be aware of, but you know, I would say this is worth hanging on to because Sun Pearl Kirin might rotate out, but it's not going to rotate out for like 5 years. So maybe it's just kind of meh. My favorite thing about it is the art, that's for sure. Chomping Changeling, we've got like a little squirrel buddy. When it enters, blow up an artifact or an enchantment. Okay, yeah, we like Reclamation Sage, and this is just like Changeling Reclamation Sage that goes into your Kindred decks. Okay, 6 mana legendary artifact for the set. Choose a creature type, get an anthem for the creature type, plus they get First Strike and Trample, and whenever you cast a spell of that type, draw a card. Oh, that is so interesting. Okay, so this is our Roaming Throne of the set. Caverns of Ixalan had Roaming Throne. That went into every single deck in the world. This is going to be the same deal. 6 mana, worth paying, especially in Commander, where you have so many like artifact discount pieces like Foundry Inspector, giving things, improvise and affinity. That's definitely going to be something that you are able to cast for like 3 mana in the mid game, hopefully, if you're playing artifacts. So that's pretty cool. I might pick that up for my Urza deck for myself. Next, we have a giant, a green giant, in fact. I am used to the giants in Lorwyn being red and white, so this is pretty cool. This is another Vivid effect. It's a giant 7/7 with Trample on top of that. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X permanent cards where X is the number of... Yeah, because it's Vivid. Okay, so up to 5 permanents. Put them on the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. Pretty good. That is gonna be nuts. Oh my goodness. So this is your kind of like your version of Galta for 5-color decks. That definitely seems worth it to me. I definitely feel like a lot of just 5-color big mana late game stuff will be able to do wonders with this. If you have some kind of an Ur-Dragon deck or any 5-mana deck that puts a lot of big creatures on the battlefield, pulling something for free is kind of nuts. And you just reveal 5 permanents, put all of them on the battlefield, so it cascades anything that isn't permanent. Oh, so this can also hit lands. Okay, that makes it a little bit less good. If you just cast this for like, I don't know, let's say you have Vivid 3 on your board, then there's a good chance that you hit 2 lands. But so this is definitely rewarding you for hitting all 5 of those colors. Next up, we've got another sick-ass Lisa Frank looking elemental. I'm beginning to really like the non-Flamekin elementals from this set. The more art that we get of them, the more I'm like, oh, that's just wonderful and completely hyper-saturated the way that I like my artwork to look. Draw cards equal to the number of Vivid you have. Pretty good. 6 mana. It's a lot of mana, but pretty good. Okay, this is one that I was looking at Simic Oko earlier this morning. So this is an Oko that you can just pay 1 mana, pay a green to flip him to the green side, pay a blue to flip him to the blue side on your first main phase. So you do that right after you draw. The blue side only has plus abilities and the green side only has minus abilities, which I think is interesting card design. I don't know how much of a fan I am of that, but the ability to +2 to give a creature all creature types definitely feels synergistic with this set. This is going to be a lot like in Kaldheim. I think there was also some Simic synergy with Changeling, so that's kind of cool to be like leaning into that again. And then for the minus abilities, you get to make 2 green elks for -1. Oh, for -3, excuse me. For -1, you mill 3 cards, put a permanent into your hand. Yeah, lots of green cards like that effect to just get stuff into your graveyard, dig through your deck. But the ultimate ability gives you an Anthem for a creature type of your choice for 6. So that is honestly kind of easy to do. For, I guess that would take 3 of your turns, and you could even do the +2 twice, get him to 7 loyalty, and then keep him alive to keep doing stuff with him. So I think it's cute. The other place I could see this Oko going is a Queen of Vesuva precon from Modern Horizons 3. That was another place where we saw some like cool creature type and land type synergies doing some really fun, powerful stuff. So I don't think this is like an auto include or anything, but it's very cute if you're already building around the effect of having a bunch of changelings and a bunch of like weird creature types. And I have to think that the move for that ultimate is to choose Elk as the creature type, right? Like, because he makes the Elk tokens and all of your changelings are going to be Elk in addition to other stuff. So that's kind of cute. He's adorable. Such a little freaking gremlin. Okay, so the next thing we have is Mirror Mind Crown. This is an equipment that makes copies of something that you control. For my Javier Sal Populate deck, that would be pretty good. I'm sure this could go in a lot of other like blue decks, do some cute stuff with copies or like specific kinds of creature tokens. So that's pretty fun. Mirror Form. For 6 mana, each non-land permanent you control becomes a copy of target non-aura permanent. That is so interesting. Okay, so these are like leaning into the same thing. The combo that I have used with an effect like this is Rite of Replication and Master Biomancer. So if you're trying to get that combo off and just get like an instant win on the table, that could be pretty cute. Okay, here is the Boros Giants that I was thinking of. Bray of Clan Stoutarm. This is a throwback to Stoutarm Giant from Lorwyn, so that's really cute. Another creature you control gains flying and lifelink, so she's just like throwing it at your opponent. That's very adorable. So if you gained life this turn, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land. So we've got some kind of cascadey stuff happening. And the more life you gain, the better card you can cascade into. Okay. Or you put it into your hand. So, okay, if you don't get to cast it, you at least get it into your hand. So that's kind of like mirroring the Discover mechanic from Caverns of Ixalan that we saw. This creature attacks, draw a card, lose a life. Pretty good. Not going to complain about it. The fact that it has to attack means that you will want some cool things giving your elves evasion of some kind, I imagine. Next we have Goliath Daydreamer. So whenever you cast an instant or sorcery from your hand, exile it with a dream counter instead of putting it into your graveyard. Is this going to be... Okay. When this creature attacks, you can cast that spell without paying its mana cost. Oh. So this is basically giving your stuff rebound as long as this guy is alive to attack. That seems pretty good. I can also see this playing into a lot of Izzet effects that reward you for casting spells from exile. I think this is like an auto include in... I want to say her name is Lathriel or something. Mono red, legend that gets bigger the more spells you cast from exile. And she quickly becomes a problem, and I think this would slot into that deck really easily. Okay, next up we've got Abigail, Eloquent First Year. So many keywords for 2 mana. And when it enters, another creature loses all abilities. But you give it all of Abigail's keywords as counters. That is so interesting. Honestly, I kind of like this as like a complicated way of doing the Stormdrake thing where you're like, hey, I don't like that creature, have a flying threat with hexproof instead. This is just like, okay, I don't like that creature's ability. What if it had flying first strike and lifelink instead? That being 2 mana is also well worth it, I think. Meek Attack. Oh, okay, this, just from the name alone, I could see this fitting into like the mouse deck that was crazy in Bloomborough standard. I'm just thinking of Might of the Meek, I think, but that is a very adorable name. So this is a 3-mana enchantment that sticks around, and you can pay 2 to put a creature card with total power. Okay, total power and toughness. I was thinking, like, why would they word it that way? But it's not just total toughness. It's power and toughness, 5 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. It gains haste, but you sack it. Okay, so this is a play on sneak attack. I see. Okay, that's funny. Morn Song Aria. Players can't draw cards or gain life. Beginning of each player's draw step, lose 3 life, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, shuffle. Okay, there's an elf that does this. This is just that effect on an enchantment instead of on a creature. Another thing that we saw spoiled for this set was Bitter Blossom, but on a creature instead of on an enchantment. So I think that's kind of cute for them to, like, do that little flip-flop on us. Lava Leaper says all creatures have haste. Whenever you tap a basic land, add 1 mana of any type that land produced. And that is symmetrical. Okay, that's scary. There is a Vashino card that would really like this, that, like, brings the mana burn effect back into the rules. Might put it in Karazakar. It's just Karazakar has so many 4-drops already. If this was like a 2/2 for 3 mana, I think it would be much more playable, but what wouldn't? Okay, Goat Nap is like a full... There was just another card called Goat Napper, not Goat Napping. Okay, so this is Goat Napper, but on a sorcery instead of on a creature. So that's pretty cute. I'll put Goat Napper on screen so I don't just sound crazy to people who haven't played Lorwyn. Blossoming Defense... This is another, like, Snakeskin Veil effect. That's always nice for green to have. And then we've got our second DFC with Tristan, Callous Cultivator. This is going to be a Golgari elf with Death Touch. When it enters or transforms, mill 3 card. If there's an elf in your graveyard, gain 2 life. That feels just okay unless you are playing my Gerard deck that actively wants to mill cards every turn. And then when it transforms, mill 3 cards, exile an elf from your graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. Okay. So this is definitely like a build around. I think you want this in the command zone or it's not very good. I can see some situations where you pull this in limited and you've just been... This really makes you dedicate hard to elves is the only problem. It's like if you pull this and then you just aren't getting elves for even one of your 3 packs, you're kind of SOL. So I think that's fun as a build around. I think the life drain effect is not worth milling 3 cards every turn in most decks, but it's pretty cute. Okay, before I get to Sonar, I'm very excited for this art style in the bonus sheet for this set. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's so pretty. It's like they're all papercraft artwork almost. Like you can kind of like see the drop shadow and like the layers of construction paper. I really like that a lot. I think that was a great idea from the art team. Sonar Innovative First Year, you could convince me that this was a Strixhaven card. This is just such a Prismari effect. It's just that it has Vivid on it. So at the beginning of your main phase, reveal cards from your library until you reveal the Vivid amount of cards. Each of those colors, you can exile a card of that color, and you can cast those this turn. Okay. That is worded confusingly, but I think it makes a lot of sense practically when you're playing it. This reminds me of Expressive Iteration. So again, rewards you for having a lot of like multicolor cards in your deck, rewards you for having all 5 colors of permanents on your battlefield. So you can flip up to 5 cards and play them that turn. Still got to pay for them, but that's a very like Izzet Storm outlet thing to do. I think this probably slots very nicely into a lot of like Jeskai Storm lists. So that's pretty cute. And these are all going to be cards that we've seen before, but just with pretty new papercraft art. And I think that is pretty fun. Door of Destinies. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on it, and it gets an anthem effect. The more charge counters, the more elves you cast, the bigger your elves get. Goblin Chieftain, another great goblin anthem effect. Idyllic Tutor, that is a huge deal. Devoted Druid getting another reprint, that's a huge deal for me. I don't know about for any of you. 1,000-Year Elixir, this is really good in a lot of commander lists. Any commander that has an activated ability, you want to be like comboing off with that activated ability much of the time. This is definitely in the Kilo list that I went over last year, along with my Javier Sal list. So it's situational, but really cool to have another printing of it. You may sacrifice a merfolk whenever this gets in. If you do, take an extra turn after this one. Good Lord, merfolk. We are doing it. Let's freaking go, merfolk. Dolmen Gate, classic. We've seen this. This is great. I mostly see this in Boros colors just because Boros is taking a lot of extra combat steps, doing cool stuff like that. Fairy Macabre, discard this card to exile 2 target cards from graveyards. Okay. So I guess if you super need the graveyard hate, you can just get that for free instead of having another fairy in your deck. We've got another anthem effect for knights. Giving him double strike is pretty good. Are we going to see more white tree folk? That's pretty cool. I bought the Abzan armor list a while back, and seeing the like huge 210 tree folk that was printed in Lorwyn really brought me back. So having another effect like that, but it has Convoke, it's got Vigilance, never untaps, it's got a big butt. That's what you want a tree folk to do, but it's white instead of green. Mostly for like my nostalgia reasons, but I still think it's cute. Okay, this is kind of a cute blink effect. Also gets you a body on the field if you're not playing some kind of like creature type synergy. I think that's probably worth it in most blink decks. Spell Snare is a cute one. There is a fairy that gets played a lot. He is Demir, and you have to like choose a number. He was from Wilds of Eldraine, so he was one of those effects where like you choose a number anytime anyone casts a spell with that number in it anywhere, including like the CMC, he drains you. And I'm not remembering the fairy's name anymore because I don't play him. So apologies to all Italian players. That is all to say the number you would always choose with him is 2. So countering something for CMC 2 in most cases in like any kind of constructed format is usually just a better spell pierce. So I think that being reprinted is pretty good. We've got another blue Convoke spell. That is a merfolk spell. Return some permanents to their owner's hands. Then, if you control a merfolk, make a white and blue merfolk for each permanent you bounced that way. Okay. I think 7 mana is steep, even with the Convoke ability. But, again, this is a merfolk spell. They are telling you with the design language that you want to be playing this in a merfolk deck. So, hopefully you have a bunch of merfolk tokens, I guess. Okay, so Silvergill Mentor. This is another Behold thing, calling back to that Tarkir mechanic. So when this enters, make a merfolk token, just like what I was just talking about. We've also got Elder Auntie. This is just a 3-drop, comes down, makes a goblin token. If you're playing any of these kindred strategies, you just really want more creatures with that creature type. So these are better than they seem, I think, if you pick them up in a draft. Okay, Mistbind Click. This is another reprint from the bonus sheet. When a fairy is championed, tap all lands target player controls. Okay, so you champion your own fairy and then tap someone's lands down. Okay, That seems really controlling and really good if you're doing Dimir fairy type things. We've got another black elf here. Almost looks like a flamekin with this like cool aura around his shield. Discard a card. This creature gains indestructible. Tap it. Okay, that's a solid uncommon. You know, we see a lot of effects like that where they have like more power than toughness, but they have a way to give themselves indestructible, so they can still like attack and block profitably. We've got just a basic removal spell. Sizzling Changeling will die and let you impulse the top card of your library, so that's pretty fun. I think the fact that it is a shapeshifter makes it worth the 3 mana in this set specifically to me. I don't think I would pick this up outside of this set, but for the limited environment especially, or if you are playing some kind of like Kindred deck, I think a lot of people are going to pick this up. This is going to be the new like Tauren Mauler that is just in every single red Kindred deck in the world. And then we've got some spooky new art for Goblin Sharpshooter. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to like, okay, let me do this. Let me go to Scryfall. This is the art that I'm used to for Goblin Sharpshooter. So he's got this like funny contraption that just like bops someone on the head. It's really cartoony. So seeing this like spooky Goblin Sharpshooter could be cool for a lot of people, but I think the boggart thing to do would be to have this guy or something akin to that. I guess it makes sense for like Morningtide. Shadowmoor, yeah, okay, so it has Shadowmoor in the reminder text, so that's why he's all like, evil looking. But that is it, everybody, for Lorwyn previews for this week at least. I'm going to be trying out weekly videos, hopefully get you all some new content like this, so I hope you like this more laid back, less scripted style. And honestly, when I saw that Lorwyn spoilers were around here, I honestly just wanted to give my first impressions to you all on camera because I'm insane about Lorwyn. As I'm sure I've made very clear already. So let me know if you like this. Thank you very much to my patrons, as always, for supporting the channel, for letting me do this more often. It is thanks to them specifically that you are going to be getting weekly videos, or like at least twice as many videos on the main channel. So everybody say thanks to them in the comments. Thank you, patrons. Everybody say thank you, squeakers. I have yet another Lorwyn video coming later this month, where I'm hopefully going to show you a lot of picks for things that will go up in price thanks to the new mechanics of this set, help you get some staples for your fun commander decks. Thank you very much for watching until the very end. I hope you're all having a wonderful January despite it all. And as always, I hope you have a beautiful evening, or a radiant, vibrant Lorwyn dawn, as the case may be. Anyway, bye-bye!